The Toronto Maple Leafs lost their best goaltender to a devastating knee injury on December 12th, and the situation just went from bad to catastrophic. Anthony Stolarz, who was leading the entire National Hockey League with a .927 save percentage, left the game against the Anaheim Ducks after just one period and hasn't returned since. The 30-year-old goaltender underwent surgery on December 18th to remove a loose piece of cartilage from his knee and is now out 4 to 6 weeks. This is the latest crushing blow to a Maple Leafs team that's already dealing with one of the worst injury crises in franchise history. With Auston Matthews, Tanev, Jake McCabe, and multiple other key players already sidelined, losing their National Hockey League, leading goaltender might be the injury that finally derails Toronto's entire season. Stolarz was playing in his second consecutive game on December 12th against the Anaheim Ducks when disaster struck. He made 7 saves on 8 shots in the first period before leaving the game with what the team initially called a lower body injury. Replays showed Stolarz flexing his right leg awkwardly after allowing a power play goal to Frank Vatrano, and he didn't return for the second period. Joseph Woll replaced him and the Leafs won 3-2, but the cost was enormous. General manager Brad Treliving revealed the full extent of the damage on December 17th. An MRI found a loose body in Stolarz's knee, described as almost like a little pebble stuck behind his kneecap. While there was no structural damage, Stolarz had severe discomfort and couldn't straighten his leg properly. The team sent him to New York on December 18th for arthroscopic surgery to remove the loose cartilage, with a recovery timeline of 4 to 6 weeks. What makes this injury particularly devastating is that Stolarz was having the best season of any goaltender in the National Hockey League. His .927 save percentage led all qualifying netminders, and his 2.15 goals against average ranked second behind only Connor Hellebuyck. In 17 games, Stolarz posted a 9 wins, 5 losses, and 2 overtime losses record with 1 shutout, and had saved 5.9 goals above expected. He was the main reason Toronto sat third in the Eastern Conference in team save percentage entering that Thursday game. With Stolarz out, the Maple Leafs are now completely reliant on Joseph Woll to carry the starting workload. Woll has shown he can be effective when healthy, posting a 10 wins, 8 losses, and 0 overtime losses record with a 2.16 goals against average and .921 save percentage in 11 games before Stolarz went down. He made 19 saves to secure the win against Anaheim after replacing Stolarz, proving he could step up in pressure situations. The 26-year-old Woll has the talent to be a legitimate National Hockey League starter. He saved 5.9 goals above expected this season, ranking 12th in the league, and his .921 save percentage showed consistency. During Toronto's injury crisis, Woll will need to handle a much heavier workload than the tandem arrangement he shared with Stolarz. The concern is Woll's own injury history. He's dealt with multiple setbacks throughout his career, and the Maple Leafs can't afford to lose both goaltenders. Toronto's goaltending depth chart now features Woll as the clear number 1, with 23-year-old Dennis Hildeby called up from the American Hockey League as the backup. Hildeby has shown flashes of potential in limited National Hockey League action, posting an .869 save percentage in 2 games this season. In the American Hockey League with the Toronto Marlies, he has an .897 save percentage in 6 games. The 6'7" Swedish goaltender has size and athleticism, but he's unproven at the National Hockey League level, and Toronto desperately needs him to be serviceable if Woll needs rest. The Stolarz injury is just the latest disaster in what has become a nightmare season for Toronto's medical staff. The Maple Leafs have lost more man games to injury than almost any team in the league, and it's directly impacting their ability to compete. Captain Auston Matthews has missed significant time with a lower body injury, and the team went 1 win and 4 losses while being outscored 17-12 without him in one recent stretch. Defenseman Tanev was stretchered off the ice on November 1st after taking a hit from Matvei Michkov and still hasn't returned. The 35-year-old veteran is considering surgery for an upper body injury that could keep him out even longer. Toronto is 5 wins, 7 losses, and 2 overtime losses without Tanev this season, and has been outscored 55-45 in those 14 games. Jake McCabe, Toronto's second-best defensive defenseman. Semin has also dealt with multiple injuries. Matthew Knies missed time with a lower body injury. The list keeps growing, and every loss puts more pressure on the remaining healthy players to carry the load. Losing Stolarz couldn't have come at a worse time for Toronto. The veteran goaltender signed a 2-year, $5 million contract in July after winning the Stanley Cup as Sergei Bobrovsky's backup with the Florida Panthers. He came to Toronto specifically to prove he could be a number 1 goaltender, and he was succeeding beyond anyone's expectations. His .927 save percentage put him on pace to lead qualifying National Hockey League goaltenders for the second consecutive season. He was outperforming elite netminders like Connor Hellebuyck and Jacob Markstrom on a per-game basis. Despite playing fewer games due to the injury, Stolarz' 480 saves and consistent excellence gave the Maple Leafs confidence every time he stepped between the pipes. Toronto's offense has struggled more than usual this season, ranking in the league's bottom third in goals after never finishing lower than ninth during the Auston Matthews and Mitch Marner era. That made Stolarz' elite goaltending even more critical. Without him, the Leafs need to find offense from somewhere while hoping Woll can replicate that level of performance. The timing of this injury crisis threatens to derail Toronto's entire season. The Maple Leafs entered December with Stanley Cup aspirations, but losing your National Hockey League leading goaltender for up to 6 weeks changes everything. They're facing back-to-back games and a grueling schedule with a thin goaltending depth chart. If Woll can stay healthy and perform at a high level, Toronto can survive this stretch. But if he struggles or gets injured himself, Dennis Hildeby will be thrust into a starting role he's not ready for. The Leafs have Matt Murray in the American Hockey League as another option, but he's dealt with his own injury issues. The broader question is whether this injury-plagued roster can compete when it matters most. Even if Stolarz returns in late January, will he have enough time to regain his form before the playoffs? Can a team that's missing Matthews, Tanev, McCabe, and now Stolarz for extended periods really make a deep postseason run? The Maple Leafs are facing their toughest test of the season. Anthony Stolarz' knee injury is a devastating blow to a team already decimated by injuries across the roster. Joseph Woll must step up and prove he can handle a true starter's workload, while Toronto's depleted lineup tries to stay competitive in the brutal Atlantic Division. The next 6 weeks will determine whether this team can overcome adversity or whether the injury curse finally breaks their season for good.